Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
What's going on, folks? Welcome to Got Your Back post-game day before deadline edition. The Oilers grab a big win against the Montreal Canadiens, and they bolster their ranks on the blue line. What do you think about the trade? Should be made official here in the next, 45 minutes or so. We'll see when the Oilers actually get their release out. But Jake Walman joining the Oilers on the blue line. Struddy and I are going to break it all down. Rob Brown will join us in a little bit. We got Zuby at the controls. Thanks for tuning in tonight, as always. Got Your Back presented by Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense. Play Alberta makes it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and more, so you can play casino games and bet on sports safely, securely, and responsibly. Everything you need to know you can find at playalberta.ca. I'm mobile tonight, safely pulled over right now in my mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio. Now with an online store for all your diesel truck parts needs. Check out adrenalinediesel.ca. Evan Bouchard, almost the overtime GOAT, ends up being the overtime hero in a big win tonight. Struds, were you thinking the same thing I was? Evan Bouchard with that turnover, and all of a sudden next shift it's Cam Dineen over the boards instead of Evan Bouchard. And I'm thinking, oh boy, they're sending a message here. They're sending a message. And then Bouch gets the tap anyways and gets the winner. Struds. That could have gone either way for number 2 tonight to finish.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's not a bit of a turning point for him. As I was standing there watching it, I just felt like he's trying to do at times too much, right? Just trying to make the simple play. Make the play that's presented to you. And I always tell young kids, make the play that's there, not the play that you want to make. And there's a difference. And I think that Bouchard, quite frankly, too much has been doing that. So I wonder if that's maybe not a turning point, but maybe just kind of reminds them hey, he jumped up, got in the play, got the puck back from Connor and shot at the net, right? It wasn't anything fancy.
He needed it. Evan Bouchard definitely needed that little positive mojo. Even a guy that has all the offensive experience that he has, and he's done a lot, you do something positive like that, and I like your thought there, Struds, that maybe it can be a turnaround. Okay, we're not going to beat around the bush tonight because the Oilers have been active on the trade front here. A couple of shows in a row where we are talking about additions to the lineup, Struddy. So Jake Walman coming in from the San Jose Sharks. The return, at this point, looking like a prospect and a pick. We believe that pick to be a conditional first rounder, but don't want to go too far down the path here until we see the release and see all of the details. Our belief at this point in time is that they're not going to retain any salary. Obviously in San Jose they can't, but there isn't a third team involved. Now we'll get confirmation on that, but that's the way it sets up as we head into the breakdown, Struds, where we can talk about this thing courtesy our friends at the Alberta Ram Dealers.
The 4x4 winter event is here. Get up to $11,200 in total discounts on a 2024 Ram 1500 DT Bighorn at your Alberta Ram dealer. See your Ram dealer today.
All right. We'll get to breaking the game down here in a little bit, but I think we should start with the news of the day tonight, Struds. We've been featuring Blue Liners in our core Blue Liners segment for a couple of months now. We've been talking about potential trade targets for a couple of months now. Been listening to what everybody else out there has been saying, and unless I missed it, I never really heard this name out there that much, right? Playing a ton of minutes for the San Jose Sharks, one of their top D-men, a year left on his deal, and the Oilers go out and snag him, a left shot guy, Struds. What are your impressions of the player and the trade?
Number one, it's a left shot guy. That's to me the number one thing that I realized that I think about when I think of this trade. The second thing is he has a second year in his contract or a deal for next year. It reminds me of the Ekholm trade because they're trading away some decent things, but at least they get the player for a little bit longer. And he's just now 29, so he could play for the team for a few more years. So they're looking longer term, and I like that. You're trying to solve a problem, not just short term, but maybe long term. So if you factor in that and Frederick, I'm guessing will replace Kane and they'll sign him. That's two players. They traded away assets, but they have something to show for it, and I really like that. As far as the player, he's got a hard shot. At his age, though, he hasn't played a lot of NHL games, like 250 games or so. Like that's for a 29-year-old player, that's really not that many, Schauger. But I'm really fascinated to see how this all sets up in the back end now, because they've got a ton of D-men, ton. They don't need any more, and how they can put the pieces together.
Yeah. Definitely want to hear what people on the stream have to say to Zuby about the trade. So while we're talking about it, Zuby, feel free to hop in with the odd comment if you feel you want to. Definitely interested to see how Oiler fan is feeling. Struds, okay, we'll talk about what they had to pay here in a few minutes, but let's maybe talk about the potential fit here. Now, we've been speculating that, actually, let's back it up even a step further. Something changed in the last 24 hours, give or take, and it went from not likely to spend Evander Kane's cap money to likely to spend Evander Kane's cap money. My feeling on this, just something shifted pretty significantly here. So they had the confidence to go out and make this move. That's big for this team, Struds, because I think there's still a chance Kane comes back. Plus, they've got some money to spend here. So that was a big development for them. And what they've done here is they've added a really quality player to their lineup and haven't had to necessarily, pay a whole bunch of assets just to move money out. Like they were able to just make a deal here, which I think is big for them. And they've added a quality player.
Oh, it's absolutely huge. Yeah. So you talk about the fit. So if Kane comes back, and let's say he's able to play at some point in the playoffs, and now you have Frederick, you have a guy you have two guys that are big and physical, change the look of your bottom. Max Jones also, and we'll get to him. And then Walman, you've added quite a few pieces to this team. And you still have guys like Matt Savoy or Philp that these guys could come in more of the depth role, but if they need, they can come in and play. So they've done a good job of it. I think you're right. I think there's some Kane clarity now. Kind of going back to my main points of can a player get in shape in 8 weeks? And I think we've got our answer. I think our answer is there. And it doesn't mean he's a good or bad athlete. I think he's an incredible athlete, but he's also a human, right? So for Evander Kane, it's going to take a little, maybe just what you think to get into the shape required to play at the level you need.
Yeah, and my understanding has not put back-to-back days of heavy workouts together yet, Strud, so still not at that stage. And it sounds like it's just kind of a general understanding, as you have speculated on many times, and you were bang on, that it, likely was going to push into the playoffs. But I just think it's more their comfort level with understanding that was the way it was going to go that I think is adjusted here. So in Walman, it sets up interesting. Playing 22 plus minutes in San Jose. He's his plus minus is very good on a team that is not very good. As you say, he's a nice skating defenseman with a nice first pass. His wrist shot is kind of a strength. This to me is a little bit of Stan Bowman and his philosophy of leaning into the things that you're good at instead of trying to round out your blue line with different types of players, right? So, you could argue that some sort of an Alexiak type, a big shutdown guy, a big stalwart, stout, defensive, physical guy is maybe what the Oilers could use back there, yet they get a guy that's more known for puck moving and pushing the puck north. I think this is a philosophy of Stan Bowman's to add to what you're already good at.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. Earlier in the year, do we need a big hammering guy that can hammer people or someone that move the puck? And I think that the guy needs Leon Draisaitl, needs someone to pass him the puck. Like that. That's really what I think this comes down to. So now you got two, puck distributors, or like with Bouchard and Walman. on two separate pairs. So now those now become groups of five, two groups of five. And then you still have, I'm guessing Kulak. I just don't know. Is he going to play his offside? I don't see Nurse playing his offside, or does Kulak play his offside? Like, I'm really interested how this stacks up, because to me, it's him being a lefty. It's not as clear right now.
So this is my guess. This is my guess at the calculation the Oilers have done. For them to go out and find a true number 4 right shot defenseman in this trade market, I don't know that player's sitting out there necessarily to go get. And so I believe their calculation is this. Ekholm and Bouchard, Nurse, and Kulak as your top 4, you probably feel pretty good about that. With the way that Kulak has played on the right side this year, the fact that he's basically played to the quality of a top 4 defenseman so far this year. And I was kind of speculating strongly at this. I could see them go get more like a 4-5 left shot, because now you can play Kulak in the 4 spot on the right side. You've got your new left shot guy to bolster your third pairing with Emberson, but you've also got other options, right? Let's say, who knows? You could play, Walman with Emberson. You could play Walman with Bouchard if you wanted. You could play, you can move Kulak around a little bit, because he's been pretty adept at playing the right side here, Struds. But I view it as Walman as a third pairing left shot guy to start, and Kulak elevating.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And you've talked about that a lot in the past. So I totally, I can see the Oilers embracing that. They might try to move things around, try a couple different looks. But I don't think having Walman and Bouchard together makes a ton of sense, just because they're both guys that move the puck. And I guess it's worked in the past at some pairing, but you like to have a bit of diversity on your pairings. So that's, so I don't think we'd see that. So if Kulak and Nurse, and they've had success, Walman, and then I guess there's Klingberg in there, Stetcher. There's a lot of depth now. Like I'd be floored if they had another D-man. I think they've got Stanley Cup round 6 depth level of defensemen back there.
All right, we got Rob Brown checking in tonight. Brownie, your thoughts on the trade, and what do you think the pairings will look like?
When Ekholm is healthy?
Yeah, whenever he's back.
Of course.
Well, I think it'll be Ekholm and Bouchard. I think they would try Walman with Nurse, and then I think you would have Kulak with Emberson and then Klingberg's your extra guy. That's what I would think. I don't know how Wahlberg is playing on his offside. I don't know if he has. Obviously, they probably would have put some attention to that, because their biggest need, to me, was a right-hand defenseman. So they must have a plan in place. But I agree with Strud. It's a good addition. It adds depth. It pushes everyone else probably down to where they belong in the depth chart, because it looks the Oilers were playing with a couple guys that were probably a little higher than they should be. I don't know as much about Walman, but I do remember every time I watched him play, I'm like, yeah, that guy's pretty good. So the Oilers, I believe, got better on the back end. And what I like about the trade, I hate trades for rentals. I think it's a waste, because only one team wins the Stanley Cup, so every other team that traded for a rental gave something away for nothing. I like the fact he has term left. So they're going to have him for a minimum 2 playoff runs. I like it better because of that.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Brownie, I don't think Walman plays the right side. I think this trade signifies they're confident that Brett Kulak can perform at a second pairing level in the playoffs if they need him to. I think that's, by going and getting a left shot guy, you know that whoever you get is probably not going to play ahead of Ekholm, and is probably not going to play ahead of Nurse. And unless he plays the right side regularly, which he doesn't, this signals to me their confidence in Brett Kulak, Brownie.
Well, they're going to have to be then, because that's your only other option, because Emerson isn't the guy. I think as the season moved on, we've seen that. Kulak's been excellent. And, well, I mean, I think you guys would know as well as I do, when you start looking at this team, who has played up to their abilities or better than their abilities over the course of this year compared to last year, to me, it's Leon, Darnell Nurse, and Brett Kulak. I think Kulak deserves more ice time. The other night, what game was it in Carolina? He was all world in Carolina. So I'm comfortable and confident that Kulak, if needed, if that's their decision, he can play in the top four, and he does move the puck well. And the nice thing about having him in your top four, he would be the guy that's on the ice when Leon's out there. He can jump in the play, and that's what Leon likes. Leon likes someone when he does that little turn inside the blue line. There better be someone coming late for me. Kulak can certainly do that.
Yeah, the other option, Struds, is, and I don't know if they'll try this or not, but the other option could be to go with Walman and Kulak together. And then you can go Nurse and Emberson as your, and just depending on how it's going, right? If you wanted to, like they've got some options. I think I know which way it's going to go, but my point is they've got a few different things they can try. And I see Emberson playing ahead of Klingberg on day one of the playoffs unless something dramatic changes here.
Well, it's going to be tough for Klingberg to get in the lineup now, right? Klingberg and Emerson are going to have to platoon at best. Stetcher, he's not going to see it. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be honest here. Especially if they start, if they added, when Frederick gets healthy, if Max Jones stays, like there'll be opportunities for these guys to play up front. They're probably not going to dress 7D. So it gets a little harder. I've been in that spot. It's not much fun. Ooh, we traded for a D, man. I'm getting pushed down. May as well get the clubs out. Trust me, I know it. It's not fun.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're coming to a good team. You have good players that aren't necessarily in the lineup. Brownie, I love your point about them getting an extra year out of them. And people might balk a little bit about this first rounder, if that's what it ends up being, and a conditional first rounder, and we'll see what the prospect looks like here. And Zuby, maybe in the background there, keep an eye on the Oilers Twitter feed, because chances are they'll tweet something tonight once it's able to become official. My belief is that there was a roster issue with Cam Dineen up as an emergency recall. Became a little bit more difficult to execute the deal, to paper the deal. Don't know all the machinations of it, but that's why I believe it's being pushed to late in the evening here. But love the fact, Struds, that they get an extra year out of this guy. And it's painful to send a first-round pick out at any point in time, but it eases the blow a little bit when you know you've got control of a player and the possibility of re-signing and all those things.
Well, you could even extend them, right, if you wanted to. Like there's just, so like I'll say it again. Like these two players they've traded for, one has a contract, the other one is a free agent. You could try to extend them and say, hey, do you want to play around with these guys, Connor and Leon? It's pretty fun. Everybody else seems to like it. So I think that there's opportunity there to trade things away, but you get to keep these. You get real live players. And I'm with Brownie. Like trading for rentals, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
Well,
Rishaug,
going forward, like look at the Carolina Hurricanes. Last year they gave up a whole bunch of assets to get Jake Etzel. He leaves at the end of the season. This year they trade some good hockey players, really good hockey players, to get Rantanen. And if they don't move him tomorrow, he's going to leave at the end of the season. So all of a sudden you got a Stanley Cup contending team that just mortgaged its future back-to-back years. If they don't win the Stanley Cup this year, what a waste of players and prospects and draft picks for not. So I don't like rentals. I like trading hockey trades, and I think this is a good hockey trade for the Edmonton Oilers.
And so it begs the question, what else could they potentially do? They get a little tight with cap space here. And you have to wonder about if they want to make any more, anything remotely significant. You got to have some money going out. So I don't know if they could find somebody to take a Klingberg for the rest of the season if they were looking to add somebody. You throw a sweetener in there maybe if they wanted to go a little bit bigger game hunting up front, and you can move a Klingberg and get a team to retain some salary with a pick or something like that. I think they do have options here. It was a big swing that they've been able to dig into Evander Kane's money here. And so what's next? And Zuby, maybe we'll get to that. Let's just get to our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll right now. Struds, you and I were at, we don't have to do the full ad read for DeBoer's. We can just talk about it for a minute, Struds. We were in there the other day, and you know the feeling you get when you walk in there, buddy. It's great people that work there. And you just get excited because, you know, golf season is coming. And though you beat me in the putt off, I have to say it was still a pleasure going to DeBoer's the other day. No,
it was nice. And it was nice of you. Let me use I'm a left golfer. I'd use a right-handed putter. That's what I used. And it's fine. Whatever.
But you would practice that in Arizona, right?
So that's right. Yeah, maybe I'm a better right-handed putter. I mean, I beat Schauger, but that's not really saying much, right?
You weren't really golfing, right? Were you?
Well, that's what you handed me.
You weren't really putting with it.
No, I picked out a putter, and you said, "Here, this is the one you should use." And I look over, it's a righty. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I like challenges, right? Like one arm push-ups, one arm pull-ups, whatever. And I did it.
We got video evidence. I feel like you're BSing right now. Anyways. Plenty more competitions to come over at DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Zuby, get to the poll there, buddy, because it's related to what might be next for the Oilers.
Yeah, so the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll tonight. What move are you still hoping to see Stan Bowman make before the deadline? And the options are nothing, we good. Second option is move a contract out for a top six forward. Third option is some goaltending help. And the fourth option is more depth, baby.
All right.
And largely,
let us know what you think.
And largely on the stream, people pretty supportive of the Walman ad. Cagill says amazing ad. Avi Hoffman says great ad. Blommer says Walman's got 32 points in 50 games. And Paulie pointing out Walman only -1 on a horrendous team, 22 to 23 minute guys, huge for the Oil. Some concern about the first, if that's what it turns out to be, but largely supportive of the move so far here tonight.
All right. Well, I'll poll you guys real quick here, Brownie. What do you think is realistic, and what do you think the Oilers can get done here?
Well, realistic depth. What I prefer, a top six winger that can score. I mean, the Colorado Avalanche just got better again today. And that's a team that the Oilers may have to go through. They've made some big ads, and the Oilers have made some subtle ads. Is it enough? I would love. I mean, again, we watched Leon Draisaitl tonight play with Podkolzin and Arvidsson for most of the game. It's Leon by himself. All the offense he's getting is him by himself. Him on the power play. Him on 3-on-3. I really wish the Oilers had somebody. And maybe it's Evander Kane, but somebody that could play and score with on the second line with Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. You know, I'll go off the board. I wish they'd trade Skinner away, Jeff Skinner. I can't take it anymore. I put him on parole, let him walk away. I feel it's just not working. I don't understand it. I don't understand why he hasn't come to the team and asked for it to be moved. And I should respect him for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I did ask Chris Knobloch about that today, and Knobloch said, look, he's been a consummate pro. He's been great behind the scenes right from the start, but he said it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable for him. It's not comfortable for Skinner, and it's a difficult situation. So, yeah, interesting to see if they just traded for two left wingers, for goodness sakes. Like, if you can't. I mean, you're looking at that and you're him. I don't know what the pathway to getting in the lineup is. So stacking so many guys in front of him that, he just needs to waive the no trade just to go somewhere and play, just to be allowed, even able to play for that next contract. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Brownie, I'm with you. They can't help but, need to fill this gap next to Leon Draisaitl. It's been night after night after night after night after night of it. I think there was some interest in Riley Smith before he got moved. So I feel like they'll look for a winger with some size that they can add to that Draisaitl line with a bit of pedigree, some scoring. We'll see. I don't know who that guy is, but we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. Okay, boys, here's what we're going to do for the rest of the show. I got a 5 a.m. wake-up call and got to be back at the rink, so I am going to bolt, and Brownie is going to take care of landing the plane with Struds the rest of the way here. So, guys, you can break down the game next, do whatever you want. Struddy, it's your show. You can pilot it. So as you guys get to the Relentless Player, I will bid everyone adieu, and we'll talk tomorrow night after the trade deadline.
All right, buddy. Get some rest, you old dog.
All right. See you, boys.
All right, that's Ryan Rishaug signing. Good night. Adieu. Let's get to Relentless Player then, guys. Brought to you by You Can Use Services. Their annual Comedy Nights fundraiser is almost completely sold out. Only 2 tables remain for the week of March 17th to 19th. If you're looking for more ways to show your support, the 50-50 draw and raffle opens tomorrow with fantastic prizes, including an 85-inch TV, a $1,000 Lululemon gift card, and WestJet flight for 2. Your support helps provide mental health support, job training, and mentorship to young people in need. To purchase tickets and enter the raffle, please visit www.youcancomedy.ca. All right, guys. The old Relentless Player. I kind of waffled on this one a little bit, so I'm not totally into it, but I'm going to go with Max Jones. 3 hits today. Came in a tough situation as far as like, hey, we're going to play you tonight. But I thought he had some good moments. Nice pass to Corey Perry, although I'm not sure I want my 4th line winger throwing that up there. But Brownie, give the guy credit. He had a good first game.
Yeah, it did. What a good first impression. I mean, this is a guy who's not only playing for a spot in the Oilers lineup, he's playing for a spot in the NHL again.
Yeah.
He's in the minors all season long. There's been times, and I've been down there, there's been times you wonder if it's passed me by, if this is what I've got, if I start looking at Europe, where's my future at? So there would have been an excitement level in his game today that would have been through the roof. And give him credit. He impressed. He gave the Oilers everything they've been missing, and that's some physicality in the 4th line. And what it does to Struds, and we've talked about this before, hitting creates more hitting. If one guy does it, someone else will see it, and they'll want to do it. And I thought the Oilers, when Colton and Jones were out there together, they continued to push each other to finish checks. So, yeah, I think that's a good Relentless play. I like the game that Jones brought.
Yeah, he was there. And, he's got to start there. And there's more. I want to get to more of that next. But let's just jump out really quick. We'll come back with takeaways and break down this 3-2 win in overtime. Oilers, Bouchard winning it in OT. We'll be back right after this.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Well, we're back, everybody. Hang on to your hats. Time for takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Kick off your next year's sledding season in style on a new 2026 Ski-Doo snowmobile. The 2026 Ski-Doo lineup was just unveiled, and you can reserve your ride at Martin Motorsports. Order your 2026 sled by March 31st and get an exclusive 4-year warranty on select models. Visit Martin Motorsports today on the south or west Edmonton side of Edmonton or online at martinmotorsports.ca. Okay, let's get to, there was a game. There's tons of rumors swirling. Everyone's all over the place. But let's talk about this game here. Oilers win 3-2 in overtime. I guess let's start first at the very beginning with the play of Stu Skinner, the netminder, Brownie.
Well, it was excellent. It was a good game for him. there's a couple players in this game that needed a confidence boost. Evan Bouchard and Stu Skinner. And Stu Skinner got his throughout the night. He was fantastic. Big saves in overtime. He needed this game, and the Oilers needed it from him. So he blanked out all the noise, because that's all it has been noise for the last couple of weeks, trade deadline coming up, and he gave him a solid effort. That's the kind of effort that you feel confident playing in front of. That's the kind of goaltending that if the Oilers want to make a run, that's what they need on a consistent basis. So you saw the good Stu Skinner tonight. They just need to see that on a more consistent basis.
Well, let's hear it from Stu Skinner himself as we go into the digital sound box, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. If it's time for a new furnace, garage heater, or hot water tank, or you're looking to beat the rush on getting a new air conditioner for this summer, act now as a team over at Weiss Johnson are already seeing an increase in requests for air conditioning. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, Weiss Johnson's here for all your home comfort needs. Visit weissjohnson.com today. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
I thought this was a really good game by Skinner. He looked under control. He looked calm, and he made some good saves. Let's hear from the man himself on his thoughts about what a win does for his confidence.
Yeah, I think it's big. I mean, obviously good for the confidence, but at the same time, I got to realize that that's an everyday thing for me. Showing up that way and being able to play those types of games, I got that in me to continue for the rest of the year and going into playoffs. So obviously feels good for the confidence, but I expect that out of myself.
Yeah, and I think that Brown, he has the ability to bounce back, and I truly believe that he will round his game into shape. But it takes a little time and a little bit of thought about what he needs to do. Brownie, let's shift over now to the play of Connor, Hyman, and Nuge. I thought I saw more physical play from Nuge as far as winning puck battles with his body and not reaching in as much with his stick. Connor, I thought it looks like he's getting some jump back in his game. Hyman, I think there's still another level to his play. Where do you see come out on that trio on a line?
I mean, fair. I think you're seeing more jump with Connor. He's looking more like Connor McDavid. He's dangling out on the ice. He's got his feet moving. In reality, he probably could have had about 5 or 6 points. Nugent Hopkins had 3 wide open looks. Great looks in this game, all on set up by McDavid. I think Hopkins and Hyman realize that this season has not been as good as they expect. The 5-on-5 play hasn't been there. And sometimes you got to get outside your comfort zone. And I think Nuge did tonight. That line still has 2 or 3 gears to get to. Because as they looked more dangerous tonight, the production still isn't there. And when you start playing good teams in the playoffs and you get into against Vegas or Dallas or Colorado or Winnipeg, you need production out of your number one line. And as much as the play has been better, the production needs to be a lot better. They got to count on that team to score that line to score each and every night. So baby steps for that line today. It'll be led by Connor McDavid, and I thought tonight is just another step forward for him becoming the 97 that we're used to seeing.
Off of Twitter, Elliot Freeman saying, okay, something else tonight. Hearing talks are intensifying to send Mikko Rantanen to Dallas Stars. That was 30 minutes ago. 15 minutes ago, he follows that tweet up with this one. Uncertain about exact details and the possibility of an extension at this time, but we're headed down this road being a trade for Rantanen to Dallas. West playoffs are going to be brutal. That would be pretty crazy if he goes there and he plays against Colorado in the playoffs because they're in the same division.
So if you look at the way their division is, Winnipeg's probably going to win the division. They've got a pretty nice lead, and they're a good hockey club. Minnesota's probably going to fall off a little bit just because of injuries. I think Minnesota's going to be a tough outcome playoff when they get healthy, but I think Minnesota's probably going to fall into fourth. And what does that set up? That sets up a Dallas-Colorado first round. And what a first round that would be. Rantanen flipping from Colorado and he's over in Dallas, and then Colorado picking up the players that they did, Elliot Freeman is right. The West has gotten better, and Vegas has gotten better. The Oilers have gotten subtly better, but Colorado, and if Dallas makes this move, all of a sudden the Winnipeg Jets better do something, or their big season might be for naught if the teams in their division have all improved.
Yeah, and it's 11 o'clock right now. We don't know if this trade has happened and what the return would be. So we'll try to keep that going as we go towards the end of the show. Let's talk about the fourth line. What are your thoughts on the fourth line today, which included Corey Perry and Max Jones, a newcomer, hooking up on a goal?
Well, I mean, when your fourth line scores a goal, you should win hockey games because it doesn't happen often. It's a bonus. And when you're on a team with Connor and Leon, you got to figure, okay, those guys are good for two. That's more or less a given each and every night. And then you add the fact that your fourth line scored a goal. It should spell out victory. And it did. In the game that the Oilers won by 1, big goal by the fourth line. And again, Corey Perry he continues to impress, and a nice play by Max Jones. So I thought the fourth line tonight was very good for the Oilers. I think they played about 10.5 minutes, which is quite a bit for a fourth line here in Edmonton. But they had a little bit of sandpaper to the game. And at one point, Colson was playing there as well. So if you have Colson and you have Jones out there finishing every check, it is noticeable. So fourth line tonight, Struds, very good.
Yeah, and I think you just nailed it. I'm going to make a point about Max Jones because I can see on social media and even on our own YouTube stream that, he needs to get, more ice time. So let me explain what happens when you get called up. You feel like you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof and so excited. You can't wait to go out there and play. You're moving your feet. You're doing everything you can to get noticed. But to do it every night, the consistency is often why a player finds himself in the minors and not in the NHL, right? Bringing it every night, bringing that physicality, bringing a determined mindset to get to the net, fighting at times, whatever, just consistency in what you do really well. I found, and Brown, you can challenge me, that's what separated NHL from AHL and European players. So it's a great first game for Max Jones. I love it, but he's got to do it another 20 times, then another hopefully 30 times 28 times in the playoffs, Brownie.
100%. Every player that is playing in the minors right now can come up to the National Hockey League and have a good game. Every single player that's playing in the minors has the ability to have a good game in the NHL. But there's a reason that they're in the minors. Because to do it at the National Hockey League level, you have to do it consistently, over and over and over. Max Jones spent most of this season in the minors on a team that's probably going to miss the playoffs. So they didn't see him as a good enough player to play in Boston. And they're not a great team. So there is a consistency issue with Jones. But as we talked about, Strud, this isn't him just trying to make the Oilers. This is him trying to extend a career in the National Hockey League. He's got to find consistency. He's got to play. He has the ability. We saw that tonight. But the difference between a tweener and an NHL player, the NHL player 90% of the time brings that exact same effort. A tweener can do it occasionally. So I hope for the Oilers' sake and for Max Jones' sake that he can find his game and become a regular contributor to the Edmonton Oilers. But yes, it's one game. Let's not get too excited. But it's one game, and he was very good in it.
And that's where you start, right? You new lease on life. You come somewhere and you figure it out, and maybe you earn a spot on a team. One a couple more things about this game. Cam Dineen, called up emergency recall. And we haven't seen a lot of him during his time in this organization, but I was pretty impressed with him tonight. And what I was really surprised was his willingness to shoot the puck, from really everywhere. I think he had 4 shots and some missed shots and block shots. Like, this guy was unloading from everywhere. And usually, at least I remember, young players or inexperienced NHLers weren't the first guys to shoot the puck.
No, you're right. He looked confident out there. And, playing in the National Hockey League, playing on a team that's been struggling, playing against the Montreal Canadiens, he took full advantage of his opportunity. He was excellent. So good that they actually put him out in overtime. I was surprised at how well he played, how well he skated, jumping up in the play, being aggressive. It's a really good, again, impression that he put on his teammates and his coaches tonight. So yeah, I really liked his game. Now, if and what you love is if you're an Oiler fan, I would say Dineen would be 8th, 9th, 10th on the depth chart for this Oiler team. So now the Oilers are like, hey, this is this guy we got. If we run into injuries come playoff time, here's what this guy's capable of doing. So it was a really nice effort for Dineen tonight in this hockey game.
And I guess they have so many D. They're so deep because they didn't have Ekholm tonight, who's going to play. Klingberg, who I think will be now a tweener. Stetcher. They've got Dineen. They've got who's the guy that?
They got Dermott. Didn't they get Travis Dermott back?
So I think that's 8 or 9 D-men. They've got the depth there. But I was spitballing this with some buddies earlier. I wonder if they don't try to move Skinner to another team who has a similar type player with similar money on a 1-year deal and be like, okay, maybe there's a better fit. Let's just try it, change the scenery. Because they have the D-man depth. And I don't know who that player would be. But I think I am on a kick to free Skinner from this prison he's in.
I agree, because again, I do believe Skinner is good enough to play in the National Hockey League. In a lot of teams, he's good enough to be in your top 6. And I stand by what I've said for 3 months now. Jeff Skinner is not playing Game 83 for the Edmonton Oilers. He's not.
You're right.
And he's good. So to me, I agree. If they, I don't know if they've asked him to waive his no trade, or if he has gone in and said, hey, maybe you guys can do me a favor here and let me try to continue my career. But it's an absolute waste for a guy who is good enough to be in the NHL. They're bringing guys up from the minors. They got, Skinner might be number 14 or 15 on the forward depth chart for this Oiler team come playoff time, and that's a shame.
Kane and Frederick aren't even healthy, and they're ahead of him on the depth chart. Like it's, I don't get it. I'm missing something. All right, let's go back to the Weiss Johnson. Go ahead, buddy.
They went 11-7. They actually had nobody ahead of Skinner in a hockey game earlier this year.
Yeah. And trust me, that hurts. I've been in that spot, and it hurts when they'd rather have nobody play than you. Really hurts. Okay, let's put a final thought here. Let the head coach do it, Chris Knobloch, as we go back into the Weiss Johnson sound box, and he outlines what he's seen from his team in the last 3 to 4 games.
Well, I think the last 3-4 games, I thought maybe not the Anaheim game. I think the first period was really good up until the last 5 minutes at first, and then we obviously were a little discouraged on that. But 3 out of the 4, like the Carolina game, Florida game, and then tonight, I thought we had good efforts. I thought we competed really well. I think the execution's not where it should be, but I think that's just guys feeling tight, not feeling confident. When things aren't going well, you're losing games, the execution lacks. We've been pushing the guys to work harder and win the battles, skate more, simplify their game. And I think 3 of the 4 games we've done that. And when you're doing that regularly, then you feel better about it. Then you're making better passes and executing a little bit better. So, I think we're in the right direction right now.
Yeah, and I think that's when you're in the depths of a storm of turds, and you're not playing well. You got to try to keep digging out of it. And I think that we can. That Ducks game wasn't great, Brownie, but I think that he's correct. Last 3 of 4, you're starting to see the team come back together. They'll add another D-man. Well, actually 2 at some point. That coming back, and then Frederick will come back. I think they're going to start digging out of this.
I agree. I don't think it was pretty. I think there's still too many grade A chances given up, but the compete level, the emotion level was there. The battle level was better. So I think all those things are positives going forward. And it's a step up in weight class on Saturday against a good Dallas team. So you want to see where you are as a team right now. Well, Dallas is one of the better teams in the Western Conference. So, yeah, I saw a lot of positives in this hockey game tonight. And probably the biggest positive was the play of 97. It looked much stronger tonight.
Yeah, more jump. He looked more lively. The guy's been traveling so much. It's crazy. All right, let's get to a scoreboard here brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at an incredible 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date is a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. Shogger's probably having one right now as he's critiquing our performance. A decent number of games tonight, 9 games tonight. Let's get to some that are interesting for Oilers fans. The Stars, who we'll see this weekend, beat the Flames in overtime 3-2. The Flames keep getting points, buddy. They keep hanging around. The Stars, should be noted, scored 3 in a row to win this one, to come back. And Jason Roberts had 2 goals to get up to 27 goals for the year. The Sharks get beat up by the Avalanche 7-3. Good if you're there. And then really after that, not a ton. The Jets beat the Flyers 4-1. Utah 4-2 over the Red Wings. Dylan Guenther gets his 23rd goal in that game, which I think is important for a good young developing player. And then finally, the Blue Jackets lose to the Panthers, Stanley Cup champions, 3-0. So that group is trying to get themselves organized. Barkov with his 17th into an empty netter. Brown, are you close to home, buddy? Where are you at?
I'm in my garage. I will hang up right now, and I will see you on air in about 1 minute.
Okay, buddy. Thanks. Let's take a quick pause here. When we come back, we'll get into core blue liners. I want to talk about a young player, Lane Hudson. Yeah, he's good. We'll be right back.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
Good. Oh, man. I love this segment. I absolutely love. Well, there's a lot of segments out, but I love talking about D-men, especially young ones that are starting to get recognized across the league. So let's get into Core Blue Liners, brought to you by our friends over at HSC Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSC Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and core requirements, HSC Core supports clients' operations every step of the way. Visit www.hsccore.com. That's HSCCOR.com for more info. Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson is a fun D-man to watch. And I when I think of him, I think of explosive offense. That's what he is. He is offense in a bottle. A couple plays tonight I want to highlight. Let's talk about the pass he makes on the goal. Jumps up in the play, drives on his offside down the right side of the wing, and snaps it over to Yoel Armia, who just hammers it in there. And that was Hudson's 45th assist of the season. That was a great play. Later on in the night, he gets behind his net, bodies. He's not a big guy. He uses his body to shield the puck, gets the puck, passes it up, and then he flies up the ice, flying to create a 2-on-1, and the pass goes across him. He just can't quite get to it. But there's a guy that is like, yeah, I want to get involved in this game. I want to get involved right now. Brownie, Lane Hudson is a player, and not bad defensively, but when you produce that kind of offense, I'll take it. I'll take it like that all night long.
He reminds me of Quinn Hughes. He just controls the play. And when he's on the ice, all the play goes through him. He just turned 21. Like he last month, he's just a kid. And to play with that much confidence and play with that much savvy on the ice and going against Connor and Leon. I think they said he's about, was it 5'9"? He's just a tiny little guy out there. Yet he moves so well on his skates. But to me, he's going to be a star, and they're going to get that Caden Gooley back eventually. The Montreal Canadiens are going to be a good team going forward. They got a lot of really good young hockey players. It's amazing, those Struds, the talent level and confidence level of young defensemen nowadays. And how good they're. That Faber, who plays for the Minnesota Wild, I think he's 21, 22 years as well. They're just the skill level of these players now is through the roof. And we saw a really good one tonight in Lane Hudson.
What I loved as I was watching, because I was in the building today. I'm watching them on the power play. He's yelling for the puck on the blue line. He's got a stick, guys. He's got a stick and he wants it. I used to throw my stick in the stand so no one would pass to me. He's in there and he's got a stick out there like, hey, like wanting it. I'm like, oh my God, he's a real talented player. Now, I'm glad you brought up his size, because the size does concern me quite a bit when you get into the playoffs. They're not, he's not a big man. Cole Caulfield, who's got really quick shot, really quick release, not a big unit. Now they have Slavkovsky, they've got Anderson. I don't know that Anderson will be when their team's really good. Gallagher, again, he's probably not going to be there when the team really peaks, or when they hope they peak. But that size worries me a little bit on the back end, because I've yet to see a top defenseman that size win a Stanley Cup with a team.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and start thinking of it. I mean, Chris Letang's not a big guy for the Penguins, but I mean, to me, talent level at that, I mean, you can build around him, but have some bigger bodies with him. I really like that Matheson. They got Wi-Fi on the back end, who's a big man and plays a big man's game. I just love watching the talent level and the skill level of these young players now. And Lane Hudson, he's everything that you were told he was supposed to be. And the best part is he's not even supposed to be the better of the Hudsons. His brother's playing in college right now, who I believe is a forward. I watched him score a goal the other night. It was like, okay, am I watching Connor McDavid playing for college team right now? It was that impressive. So it's funny. A lot of is Hudson, is he Canadian or American? What is he?
No, they're American. I think the other guy isn't he a D-man? I might be wrong, because didn't he play for the World Juniors a D-man? I thought he was. Now you have me second guessing myself.
Yeah, I think you are right. It was. I forgot he was on the. I saw him score a goal with his college team the other day. Yeah, he's a D-man as well. Small, talented. Yeah, you're right. So it's a couple of these American brothers they got. They got the Hughes brothers. They got the Hudson brothers. Some talent down there. The Kachuk brothers. But we boo those guys. But there's a ton of talent families in the U.S. hockey world. So Hudson's a kid to watch for the next number of years. Yes,
really talented D-man, and it's going to be fun. He'll be a fun guy to watch. Really fun. Right, that was Core Blue Liners. Let's move over now to Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right, and I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Zuby, up in on this one as well, buddy.
Right on.
Struddy's World with locations in Calgary and Edmonton. DLR Vinyl Products is your go-to Canadian-owned supplier for top-quality vinyl fencing and decking. Contractors and contracting businesses, let DLR help you expand your offerings with durable, low-maintenance vinyl products. Count on their exceptional service and expertise to support your business. Visit dlrvinylproducts.ca today. Okay, guys, I took a flight today, flew home, and it was one of those ones that has 2 seats on the other side of the aisle, right? Sometimes there's 3. This was 2. Jam, or not quite jam, but pretty full. I'd say 85%, so full. So I get on there, I get on early, zone 3 boarding. Yeah, pretty big deal. Get into my spot on the window, 11D, I believe I was in. And I was like, oh man, am I going to get lucky? No one's going to sit here. Zone 4 comes, zone 5. And then all of a sudden I see this really tall guy and he's coming on. I'm like, oh God, please don't. Like, he looks like a nice guy. Hey man, I'm beside you. I'm like, oh God, yeah, I'll sign an autograph, whatever. So he sits down. This guy is a monster. So now I'm a pretty tall guy, and this guy's taller than me sitting there. And there's a couple free seats. I start looking around. Like, am I the only person seeing this? The two tallest people on the plane are sitting beside each other. There's knees, elbows, and ankles all over the place in there. It looks like Frankenstein's garbage. And I have nowhere to sit. I can't get comfortable. I couldn't sleep. But I kept looking like, does no one else see that maybe this guy should move? Or maybe switch with him. Hey, I'm a little person. Why don't I go sit with another tall guy, and the good tall guy can go sit there? The lack of respect for the challenges faced by tall people on planes, outrageous. And I wish that people would notice that, Brownie, because us two, and I was the smaller of the guy. Smaller of this guy is a monster. Nice cologne, by the way. He smelled really good.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, I don't want to sit by you. If I got a nice, comfortable seat sitting beside some kid or smaller person, why do I want to go trade and go sit beside the monster over there? I'm like, you should have bought the extra long leg room and sat up there. Don't be coming on my seat because you're not happy with your seat, mate. I prepaid for my seat. I got the one I wanted. I don't want to trade with you.
But you got lucky because there's no one beside you, right? So the guys in front of us, they both put their seat backs, and the one guy, not in mine, the other guy wasn't even sleeping. Didn't even sleep, just put it back. That doesn't make sense. Zuby, have you ever had this experience?
Well, I don't have the experience of being over 6 feet tall, but why did you nudge your buddy there and be like, hey, I think there's a couple other seats available? Like, you once you're up in the air, that seatbelt sign goes off, it's on you.
Agreed.
You can move. Like,
I looked. I gave him the look like, hey man, there's some, like, I was kind of looking over, like, there's some free seats, like trying to get the point. But I don't know. I think he must have liked sitting curling beside me. I'm not kidding you. Our knees are pressed up against, there's ankles all over the place. It was crazy. This guy was probably 6'5", 6'6".
I don't know how you guys can sit on an airplane because there is no space for me, and I'm 5'10" and 3/4, and there's no space on. I don't know how a guy 6'5" or 6'4" can sit on an airplane nowadays, because every time you get a new airplane, it seems like they take about 2-3 inches of knee space away. So I feel for all you tall, good-looking men. You guys have had it tough all your life there, Struds.
Well, this guy wasn't that good looking, but let's just say from now on, when you get on a plane, you see two tall people in the same, just offer to change with them. Why don't one of you guys switch? Why don't you just do it? Because you're a little person, it doesn't make a difference. Your knees aren't touching the seat. You can get comfortable in there. We'll even keep you warm. We've got a lot of body heat.
It could have just started the conversation. And on those planes, there's no there's no middle seats, right? It's all aisles and windows. So there's really no excuse. I think you could have pushed him harder, Struddy. I think you needed to. You needed to get him out. You needed to drop some more hints.
he looked like a karate guy. He looked pretty fit, and so I was just trying to look and make it obvious. You know, like give it down all the time. It wasn't good. It wasn't my best one. I wanted to have a nap, but I couldn't. All right, that's enough of Struddy's Rule. Let's duck into what everyone loves. Everyone's fourth favorite time to hear on the show for sure. Brownie Points, brought to you by our good buddies at Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you're looking for a delicious way to support your team, club, or cause, Hamel's Premium Jerky offers an easy and profitable fundraising opportunity. Raise funds with a high-quality product that everyone loves. Contact them today at albertajerky.com. I can't wait to hear how many points Max Jones gets for tonight. I'm guessing north of 30. Let's hear it.
Ooh. Well, I mean, that's a good start. He didn't. I'm actually going to start with Max Jones. I gave him 10.5 brownie points to Max Jones, who was incredibly noticeable in the 10.5 minutes that he played tonight. He finished checks, dipsy doodle, pulled the puck up between his legs. Don't see that often with a fourth liner. Nice play to Corey Perry on the breakaway pass. I think it was a wonderful first impression for Max Jones. And you're right, Struds. It's got to be consistent. It can't be one every 4 games, one every 5 games. There's something that has happened in Max Jones' career that has led him to be moved a couple times. And in the minors, here's his opportunity. The Edmonton Oilers are desperate for a player that wants to bang on their fourth line. I got 13 brownie points to Corey Perry. He scored his 14th of the season. 13th even strength goal. 97 and 18. have 14 even strength goals, playing twice as many minutes and playing in the top 6, playing with each other. You got Corey Perry, 13 even strength goals. I love the fact, too, he might be one of the slower skaters on the team. He's on the back end of his career, but he thinks fast. And when you think fast, you can read plays. When you read plays, you can give yourself breakaways. He's had 2 breakaway goals in the last, I think, 3 goals that he's had. This is Corey Perry. Breakaways. We're not seeing Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl on breakaways. We're seeing Corey Perry. And the one thing we know he can do, he can finish when he gets the chance. I got 41 brownie points to the Montreal Canadiens young D-man Lane Hudson. Just turned 21. The undersized D-man is a superstar in the making. We just talked about him. Reminds me of a Quinn Hughes. He's a guy you want to watch. And when Caden Goulet gets back, that is 2 really good young defensemen. I got 926 brownie points to Stu Skinner. That was his save percentage tonight. Made a couple of huge saves in overtime. Evan Bouchard had one of those nights. He was trying to win the game in overtime. Didn't matter which team it was going to be, as he coughed the puck up a couple times. Fortunately for him, Stu Skinner bailed him out. And another thing we're very fortunate of, that Knobloch is the coach of this team and not Strudwick, because Strudwick last week said he would have gone Pickard these 2 games. Didn't matter what happened. Instead, Knobloch went with Skinner, and Skinner was the right decision. He gets a big win for his coach. And last but not least, I have 74 brownie points to the world's best defenseman, Cale Makar, who had 6 points tonight for the Colorado Avalanche. He's got 74 on the season with an outside chance to get 100 points this year. I tell you, we talk about Lane Hudson and what a nice young player he is. We talked about Quinn Hughes. There's only one best defenseman in the world. He's a Canadian kid. He plays in Colorado. Good old Albertan boy. 6 points tonight in a 7-3 victory over the San Jose Sharks. Cale Makar. I can't have it. There's not enough brownie points in the world for Cale Makar. One of my favorite players to watch play hockey. So good on him and Struds. That's tonight's brownie points.
Yeah, really well done. I think McKinnon had 5 points in that game as well. So
He did, yeah.
Point night. What's up, Soups?
Well, I was just going to say, I heard that Max Jones wore number 46 just because he was trying to rack up some extra brownie points, hoping he'd get 46 right out of the gate here. And
you got to earn them. You got to earn them.
Got to earn it. Yeah, got to earn your place at the table for Rob Brown's brownie points. All right, let's take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to take a lap. I'm going to try to update some of the trades that happened the eve of the trade deadline, the high points. We already went over the Oilers one. At this point, we still don't know what the trade was for with Walman. I think there are some issues around maybe roster numbers and all that, but we'll get to that next on Take a Lap, boys. Stay with us.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Welcome back. to Got Your Back with Strudwick, Brown, and Zabunia. It sounds like the Oilers have the day off tomorrow, which makes sense. Everyone should have the day off in trade deadline. I don't understand it. I just cannot understand we can't do that. Take 2 weeks off for international hockey, but not one for the trade deadline. All right, let's get to Take a Lap so we can update you on all the trades as we know them near at midnight on this Thursday evening. Take a Lap is brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, Acon wants to hear from you. One of Canada's original industrial contractors. They're building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada, and you can be a part of it. If you're looking for skilled tradespeople and construction professionals to join the Acon team and start building what matters today. Join Acon now by sending your resume to trades@acon.com. All right, I'm going to go through some of the high ones. There's a few today. Let's start closer to home. Colorado Avalanche trade for Brock Nelson and William Dufour, a center and a forward from Islanders, for Oliver Killington, who was traded to Anaheim, flipped right away by them. Kalen Ritchie, a pretty good young forward out of the Ontario League. I think he has like 70 points in 50 games. A 2026 first rounder, Brownie, then a conditional 2028 third rounder. To me, the two things here. You can talk about the Avs, but finally the Islanders admitting it's not working. What they're doing is not working. They got a young player in Kalen Ritchie, who I think will help add some excitement to that lineup. But the Avs, maybe you want to get into what Brock Nelson or where he fits in on that roster.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. The Islanders are boring. They've been boring for years. Put a little excitement into that organization. Colorado is they won a Stanley Cup, and then they've kind of taken a couple steps back. But this year, I think I counted today that 7 players they've traded for this year, because they got 2 new goalies. They got 2 guys from the Rangers. They got 2 guys in the Rantanen deal, so that's 6, and then Brock Nelson, actually 8 if this other Dufour guy ever plays there. They got Nick, how do you say, is it Nikishkin? Is that the kid, the big Russian that's there as well? Yeah, so they got him coming back. He's been out most of the year. You add Brock Nelson. They were always top heavy. They always had a really, really good first line with McKinnon. Now you can build a second line. And Brock Nelson's a very good hockey player. So they got big because Brock Nelson's a big man. He can score. And if you can have a second line that can contribute, and now that just moves everyone down a little bit further, Colorado's good. They got fantastic goaltending. That Mackenzie Blackwood is a very good goaltender. Colorado is sending a message to the rest of the National Hockey League. We're making a run this year.
2 big guys in Kushkin and Nelson on the same line. That's a lot of humanity. And then you can put a Smurf on the other wing. You're still going to be fine, right? Another trade, Riley Smith goes back to Vegas, one of the original Misfits, and he was traded for a third rounder this year, and then Brendan Brisson, a youngish, smallish, skilled forward that is trying to find his way up to the NHL. So Vegas brings home what they know, and I think they know exactly what he is. He's a hardworking guy. They can chip in some goals.
And again, Vegas has made a couple of moves. They went and got Brandon Saad. How do you say it? Saad the other day.
Saad, yeah.
Saad, and I mean he's contributed. They had Tanner Pearson, added him. He's contributed. And there's a thing here. They're all big guys that they're bringing in there, and I think this was a good trade for Vegas. A depth player, but a depth player that fits into your dressing room. You know exactly what you get on the ice with them. And he was actually having a pretty good year with the Rangers. So I talked about the Oilers making subtle trades. I think this is a very good subtle trade by the Vegas Golden Knights that doesn't upset the chemistry of their dressing room. Just adds another piece, another depth player that you can count on because what he can contribute in a big moment because they've seen it.
I'll rip through a couple here. Carson Soucy of the Canucks goes to the Rangers for a third rounder this year. The Rangers then moved out Ryan Lindgren. And then Brian Dumoulin of the Ducks goes to New Jersey for youngest prospect Herman Traft. If you can spell that, you get a free drink. And then a second round pick. Just my point on this. D-men are always valuable, but
yes, Jack
Hughes is out for the year. Why are you trading for anything? It's over. It's over in New Jersey. You're not winning without that guy. So they needed a center before. Now you need 2 centers. I don't understand it, Brown. I know that you have to reward your players, but if you're the GM, sometimes you got to be, hey guys, this isn't our year. Just do what you can.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm pretty sure the big defenseman too. They used to play in Calgary, the offensive defenseman. He's hurt.
Doug
Pardon me?
Hamilton. Doug Hamilton.
Yeah, he's hurt too. Yeah, he's hurt there too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're not a deep team offensively, and you lose your all world play. I mean, Jack Hughes is fantastic. He's a great hockey player.
Really good.
And you've got to go through Carolina, you got to go through Washington, you got to go Florida, all those other teams that, I mean, they've improved big time. Yeah, so I was a little surprised by that one as well. The trade for Dumoulin, who I thought might be moving. I just thought it would be to another team that had a little bit better opportunity to move on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, listen, I get it. I get you want to try to hang around and win, but sometimes your number one guy goes down. Like, just admit this is it. We're not going to replace that guy, and he's not coming back. He won't be back in April, whatever, 14th, right? And one last one here that we know of tonight at just around midnight is the Bruins traded Justin Brazeau to the Wild, kind of a really big winger for some youngest players in a 6th-round pick in 2026. So Minnesota Wild trying to get bigger, which I do understand, right? Everyone tries to get bigger this time of year.
You know what's funny is everybody, all my buddies in the text group, we got to catch Vegas. We got to get first. We got to win the division. Well, winning the division probably means a first-round matchup with Minnesota. And Minnesota is eventually going to get healthy. And the Minnesota Wild play the Oilers well. And what Minnesota does, if you come out of that series, you're going to feel it because they are big, they are physical, they play old style hockey. So I'm not sure, is it better to play Minnesota than it is to play LA, a team that you've beat 3 years in a row and you know what you're getting from them? But Minnesota, they just went out and they added to their identity. I think that's a good thing with that trade. We are a big physical hockey team. Let's go bring in another big physical hockey player. Minnesota's going to be a tough out. If they get everyone back healthy for the playoffs, they are going to be a tough out. So I do believe they will fall to one of the wild card spots. I think Colorado will pass them. And all of a sudden you win your division and you're playing a big physical, sometimes nasty Minnesota Wild team.
Going to be interesting. So we're going to have a trade deadline show tomorrow night. So you guys can hang around, expect that, and then the game on Saturday as well. Okay, Zuby, let's get you in here for some Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. Founded in 1976, Brownie is 20 years old when that one started. BJ Electric Supplies is a full distributor providing quality wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated in Edmonton. Visit bjelectrical.ca. Zoobs.
Hey, what's going on?
There he is.
I'm here. Let's get into it, fellas. We're going to do some... you know what? Let's wrap up the poll first. Let's do
I love it. Yeah.
Let's do the classic. I think I'm going to lose Brownie here, though. I gotta fix that.
What happened to me?
No,
don't make me Jogger.
I just made you momentarily look like Shogger. Okay. So the poll question tonight was, what move are you still hoping to see Stan Bowman make before the deadline? Move a contract out for a top 6 forward, 55% of the vote. Some goaltending help, whatever level that might be at, 23%. More depth, baby, 14%. Nothing, we good, 6%. Almost 400 votes. Very active stream tonight. So people still wanting that scoring guy. And as Shreds and I were talking about before we came on the air tonight, with all the opportunities that the Habs seem to hand the Oilers in the third period, that they couldn't seem to finish it, I think I might be leaning that way as well. A little bit of love for Nuge tonight. Jeff McDonald said, love when Nuge puts his 100%. We also had... that's in my other favorite. Someone else pointing out that Nuge had 3, Aaron St. Pierre. Nuge had 3 hits tonight. That's a good month for him. What did you guys think of Nuge? He seemed more engaged. How does he keep it going, Struddy?
You know, I think that he does have another gear, but he can skate faster, but I think he has to win more puck battles with not just his arms, but with his body. And I saw him doing it twice today specifically, where he kind of got his body between the man and the puck and he took it off the guy. So I think he's got to contribute to that as well, be a part of that solution.
Yeah, I think good point. I think he, as well as any player that's not playing up to their standard, know it. And sometimes it takes a wake up call, and all right, I'm going to go and put a little more concerted effort into different parts of my game. I think you're right, Struds. I thought he was more physical tonight, and physical doesn't mean running guys through the boards. Physical means getting in the battle, and I thought he was very good in that. And actually, a great play by Nuge on the Draisaitl power play goal. That was a lost face-off for the Oilers, but Nuge won a battle, got the puck back, and 5 seconds later, it's in the back of the net.
Let's double back to something related to the poll question, and I'm just going to kind of pluck from things a few people have said here. We talked about the top 6 forward, the scoring winger. So Alex Tuck's name is out there, Brad Marchand, one of those two, or go off the board and pluck somebody else whose name is out there. Who would you like to? Who would you be over the moon for the team if they picked up tomorrow, Brownie?
Well, I mean, Brad Marchand, he's a winner. Like, he's got championship pedigree. Love to have him. He's not the same player he was 15 years ago. I did a podcast earlier today, and we talked. Imagine in the first playoff round, you start a game where you have Marchand on one wing and Corey Perry on the other, and the 5 guys standing on the blue line for the national anthem are looking across. Oh my God, I got to play against these two to start a hockey game. Like, seriously, what are you doing to me? So I mean, Alex Tuck's a good hockey player. Brad Marchand, though, just brings, he's got an air about him. Like, he's a superstar and has been for a number of years.
Alex Tuck, I love the size and speed. Right, I think they got to try to add some more size and speed there. I think he's a better goal scorer than Foegele is.
Yep.
So,
the good thing about him, Struds, is the Buffalo Sabres continue to give away players that go on to Stanley Cups elsewhere. So
yeah, it's awful. It's so bad.
CK Pond says Jones in the lineup gave some juice to the team. Can't wait when Frederic and Kane come on, and the juice is going to be flowing. When you think about that, for the criticism that we've had of this team on this show, is it possible that in 6 weeks or whatever we're saying, well, this team has some bangers? I feel like can this group kind of flip the script? Is it possible, Struddy?
I do think so. Listen, it's like anything. We got to get to the blue paint. We got to penalty kill differently, or pass the puck with more attention, move it quicker, play faster. Like, you can direct players to do things. Now, you're not going to get Nuge to become a 10-hit-a-night player, but you just 1 or 2. If everyone just gets 1 or 2 a game, you're also now a lot more physical in the game. And then your heavier guys, your expectations maybe 3 or 4 or 5, like Emberson, Nurse, Ekholm. When Frederic comes back, he's a guy. Kane, like, now you're pretty physical because you have all these guys that are hitting just once or twice a game, and the other guys, your big hitters, are putting numbers up. So yes, I do believe, because you don't just forget how to hit and not. I think they chose not to hit, and they'll be fine. The hitting, I'm not so worried about, especially with the reinforcements they brought in, Brownie.
Yeah, 100%. They will get bigger and more physical as the playoffs come. Connor McDavid is physical in the playoffs. Leon Draisaitl is physical in the playoffs. I've said it all year long. I am not worried about the Oilers' physicality come playoff time.
All right, we'll get back to some Oilers stuff here too, but we've got a couple of other interesting things that I wanted to touch on. This one is a simple choice. Well, it's not a simple choice, but it's 3 pretty clear contestants. Aaron St. Pierre says Wolf, Celebrini, or Hudson. Who do you got for the Calder Trophy this year, Brownie?
Ooh, all 3 are excellent. They are. I mean, if you're going to go in order of importance of the position, goalie, defenseman, forward is the way you would go. Wolf, Hudson, Celebrini is who's more important. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. I really don't. All excellent hockey players. I watched Hudson tonight, so I'm like, okay, that guy is so good. Wolf has given the Calgary Flames a chance. They might make the playoffs, and it's because of a rookie goaltender. And then Celebrini came in with all the expectations, and he's matched them. To me, it'd be between Hudson and Wolf for the rookie of the year. One of those 2 guys in my mind.
Yeah, I think you said it. I think they could all win it. and I wouldn't be like upset, unless I'm maybe a fan of one of those teams. I'm biased. I'm probably going to go with Hudson. I really enjoy watching him play and the way he moves the puck and what he's done. Yeah, I think I'm going Hudson.
Doesn't a goalie, a D, and a forward make this like one of the most interesting Calder races in a long time? Because you can make it. You can make a case positionally for any one of those guys. I think so. I'm very curious to see where it lands.
You know what, Zuby? To take it a step, and I'm going to go a step further now. Though, if one of those teams makes the playoffs, that guy on that team would be my pick. Because when we talk about MVPs, if the year that Connor was on the team when the Oilers didn't make the playoffs, I don't give it to a guy that doesn't make the playoffs for the MVP. So if Wolf gets the Flames into the playoffs and Montreal and San Jose miss, I give it to Wolf. If somehow the Canadiens make the playoffs, I'm going to lean towards Hudson.
Scotty knows we touched on this, but Scotty knows says if the Stars get Ranton, and that'll be the icing on the cake for that series. Just revisiting again the thought that Colorado moved Rantanen out to the other conference, and then he could wind up back in the division. I don't know. That's crazy. Can you guys think? I can't think of anything like that in recent memory of a player like that who you do not want to face ending up back in your division.
Not only in the division, in the first round.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if Dallas and Colorado, they're going to play in the first round. And all of a sudden, you got Rantanen as far away as you could possibly get him, and now all of a sudden you're seeing him. It'd be a pretty cool storyline. I hope the trade gets done. I really do, because I think it'd be exciting. And that because one of those teams is going to be gone after the first round, so you're losing some pretty good players out of the playoff pool. But it is a cool story.
Interesting that Carolina, they must have felt 100% they'd be able to sign them.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't have made the trade. And I get it. And I hear a lot of people saying you got to keep them for the playoff run. That's a lot of assets they lost out. You made the point earlier about what they did last year. I think you have to trade them, get some assets back. I really do. I think you got to do that.
Well, it'll be interesting, Strez, to see too what they get back. Is it as good as what they gave away to get them? Because I mean, that's pretty good. Colorado got better with that Nakash. So it's interesting. It's funny. Before we go further, we had to flood in the house. So there's stuff everywhere in our house right now. But I got this picture. I don't know if you can get it on air. So that's my line. That was my line in when I played for the Hartford Whalers. Me, Pat Verbeek, and Ronnie Francis. So just how our lives have changed since then. One's the general manager of the Seattle Kraken. One's the general manager of the Anaheim Ducks. And one's on a podcast at midnight on Thursday night.
Can't sleep. All right, Soups, a couple more here, and we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah, Struddy, your pal Randy Petrick says secret admirer here. And he adds, I played with Scott Niedermayer's cousin from Timu. That's a good
Yeah,
trip.
he was my goalie in junior, and I blocked so many shots. He got shutouts for it he shouldn't have gotten.
Nice. Okay. What did I have here? Alex Kanye says, Skinner and Bouch on a run, and we have a cup. Does it feel like it's that simple, or does the secondary scoring have to kick in as well, Struddy?
Well, I think it was, I can't remember if it was you, Brownie, that said it. Like if those two guys raise their game, like Nurse has got his game in a pretty decent place. Ekholm's been sick. I truly believe he needs to rest and get healthy.
Yeah.
But if they can, those two specifically, and Bouchard, like his numbers are pretty good, but it's just make the simple play more often. I think it would make his life easier. Then Skinner, just make the saves that you need to. I think those be a big moment for them. And again, adding Frederick to bring some energy if Kane comes back. I don't know that's a run for the cup, but I feel a lot better heading into the next 20 games or quarter of the season.
Well, if Skinner doesn't get back to where he was last year and Bouchard doesn't come close to getting back to where he was last year, the Oilers aren't winning a cup. I mean, you're not going to do it with average goaltending. And Bouchard, a lot of nights, is playing 25 minutes, 26 minutes a night. So if those two get back anywhere close, then it gives the Oilers a chance. But if they don't, well, then it becomes a much harder run for them to be able to overcome two players that are that important to their team if they're not playing at the level they need to be at.
Two more here. Lauren the Alchemist says, I loved that the win was a 3-2 game. Only 2 goals against is the most important takeaway from the game for Lauren. Do you agree with that? Because Skinner was good, but the team defense seemed to be better as well, Brownie.
Well, there were still some mistakes. I mean, the Oilers very fortunate in overtime.
Yes.
The Canadiens were the better team in overtime. But yeah, I do think it's important. The Oilers are a team, when they went on their run of 16 straight, and when they went on their run in the playoffs last year, they were a very good defensive team. And if the Oilers are giving up 2 a night, I like their chances. They got an automatic 2 goals every night because they have Connor and Leon. So now if they're only giving up 2, now it's a 2-2 game. And now you're hoping your players are 1 goal better. So yeah, I think it was a very important step that there was a 3-2 game. These are the kind of games you play in playoffs. And tonight they showed they were capable of winning it. So yeah, I think the 2 against was the biggest part of this game for the Oilers, Struds.
Yeah, the mindset of being a good defensive team. It's a mindset. A decision, you make it consciously, we're going to be good defensively. And I hope for the next 20 they get it done.
Okay, last one. I'm going to tee up some stories here for you guys because you guys have been on a lot more planes than I have. So you can go this way or you can go with another pet peeve. But Bonnie D says, don't you hate it when people take their shoes off on a flight? Struds?
Oh, it's disgusting. Yeah, I just can't. You can't do that. It's also when you bring like very, very smelly food on the plane, homebrewed food. I've seen all kinds of things. I'm like, come on, man. Like, no, you can't do that.
I take my shoes off every flight, so I'm fine with that. I take my shoes off when I go sit in a bar too, so it's all good. I got nice smelling feet.
I think if you got to be aware of your own foot smell. So there's a self-awareness thing. If your feet don't smell, as long as you have socks on, it doesn't bother me that much. But one whiff is gag city for sure.
Yeah, no, that's right. But people wear sandals on planes, so what's the difference of that? Taking your shoes off if you got socks on. So I got no problem with that.
They're already open-toed. The smell is already out there, right? Doesn't gather in. All right, that was Ask Us Anything. Brought to you by BJ Electric. It's time to bring this one down as we're on the eve of trade deadline. I'm going to get to the play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental, offering a full range of services designed to help keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team provides personalized care with the latest technology to ensure you get the best treatment possible. Contact gallerydentalYEG.com. I'm calling it. So this is a preemptive play of the day, Brownie. I don't usually do preemptive, but I'm doing in this case. Mikko Rantanen will be traded, and minds will be blown that he was traded in the first place. Then he got traded again. A top 10 player, I believe, in the league. Traded twice in a short, 4 or 5 week span.
Yeah, we probably had him as top 7, 8 players, probably top 5 forwards in the world. And he could be traded twice in a span of 5 weeks. That is unbelievable. So, it's I like your preemptive play of the day. I will applaud you if I wake up tomorrow morning or if by noon tomorrow we see that trade. I will say once again, other than the playing Pickard back-to-back games, once again, Struds is absolutely right.
Yeah, that was a mistake that they didn't do it. I still think they regret that. But it's 12:02 on my clock, so we're actually in the play of the day window for tomorrow. So I think I'm pretty excited about it. Any final thoughts?
Well, I got another play of the day. So since maybe that one came in just before midnight and this one came in just after, we got to get Chris Knobloch after morning skate today, calling out Schauger when they were asked about, I think he was talking about Frederick, and that he lays some hits. That just talking about his style of game. I think it was Frederick they were talking about. Anyway, here was Knobloch threw some shade at our Ryan Rishaug.
A player that gives us something we don't have. A little more speed, a little more physicality. Really simple game, but guy that gets in on the forward check makes it a little more uncomfortable for the opposition D. Our hit total should be up a little bit more, so maybe I'll get fewer questions from Ryan about that. But
I love it. That's a great one. That is a great one.
That is fabulous. And we do have the from the Oilers Twitter. Officially, the Oilers have acquired defenseman Jake Walman from San Jose Sharks for a conditional first-round draft pick and forward Carl Berglund.
Oh, Bergie's gone, eh?
So that's the official trade.
Carl Berglund.
I don't know who Carl Berglund is, Struds. I feel horrible being an Oiler analyst. But
didn't they okay, well now we got to check. I think he did. What didn't they trade for him before?
I don't know.
No, he was signed by. I guess he wasn't drafted. The Oilers signed him. He's 25 years old. Yeah, he's played mostly in the minors. So, yeah. So basically a first rounder. Maybe it was about getting a contract off the books, right? Because they're up. I think they're at 48 or 49 contracts. Maybe they're looking for some freedom there. So, all right, Oilers fans, let's see what happens tomorrow. 2 claps and a woo for the Oilers for getting a D-man and a rough forward. We'll see what they can do tomorrow. Brownie, Zuby, thanks a lot for this. And for everyone listening, thanks. If you're watching, give us a thumbs up or please tell a friend to subscribe. They can tune in. We're nearly at 6,000 subscribers, which would be really cool. That's it, guys. Have yourself a great night. We'll be back tomorrow with a post-game or a post-trade deadline pod. Have a good night, everybody.
That'll be a fun one. Join us.
Night, guys.
Fun to meet you,
Brownie.